What's going on, everybody? Evan here from Evan's Detailing and Polishing. In front of me here, I got a red buff and a pink buff. On this side, I got an orange buff and a yellow buff. A guy reached out to me and asked me a question the other day, and I thought, that's a really good question. I should probably answer that. So this one's for you. I had a guy reach out to me and said, Evan, your aluminum kits have an orange buff and a yellow buff in it. I said, correct. They said, and your stainless package has a red buff and a pink buff in it. I said, yep. He said, can I use your orange and yellow on stainless, or can I use the red and pink on aluminum? I said, well, yeah, buffs are buffs. I wouldn't see why you couldn't. The guy said, I seen so-and-so on Instagram using a red buff, and I seen so-and-so on Instagram using a pink buff for aluminum. I just wondered if that was realistic, or if I should shy away from that, or if I should or shouldn't do that. There's no reason why you can't. Here in my shop, I separate them out because it makes more sense for the average consumer and the guys in my shop, and myself most days. We use different colored compounds with each and every buff. Much like we do with our towels, we use different towels for different things. I don't want to cross-contaminate hardly ever. Now the orange and yellow, we all know the orange is stiff and the yellow is softer, and then the white's even softer than that. What you didn't know probably was that the red and pink are also stiff and a little less stiff. There's about 5% to 10% difference between these two buffs. Now, if I were to mix these in with these buffs, I'd go that way right there. That's the best way that makes sense. Now, fresh out of the box, the pink will feel a little bit stiffer than the yellow, but as soon as it breaks down, the pink's actually just a hair softer. Now, the red and the pink do really well on stainless. The treatment on the fabric will hold up to the heat a little bit better than the orange and yellow will, but I'm here to tell you, if you've watched some of my other videos, you will see that I use the red buff to cut after I've sanded sometimes. If I'm looking to cut down some of my time, the red is more aggressive than the orange. So I'll use the red with the brown. But in my shop, we'll label it. We'll actually write right on the buff, and we'll say brown compound, or brown, all the way around it, so the next person that grabs that buff doesn't go to throw it straight on stainless. If I throw brown compound on stainless, it's not going to be pretty. I see some of you out there polishing with it, and it does work, but it doesn't work as effective as some of the other compounds out there. Now, you should be using other compounds specifically for aluminum or stainless. The compounds are a lot more specific than the buffs are. Buffs, all they are is treated fabric. Treated fabric doesn't care what metals you're putting on it. Now, if you get too soft, you could build up too much heat. Now that'll make a difference, but it's not the actual buff's difference. It's the compound that you put on those buffs that make the biggest difference. And if you've watched some of the previous videos, you also know that drier compounds in higher heat works better. Wetter compounds in the lower heats work a lot better. Stuff like that. But the buffs are just buffs. It's just treated fabric. You can use red and pink on anything, but I do find that they work a lot better on stainless than the orange and yellow do. Only because the orange and yellow buffs aren't designed to hold up to the heat. They were originally designed for aluminum, and when you go to put them on aluminum, aluminum doesn't like a lot of heat, whereas stainless loves heat. If you're polishing stainless, build up as much heat as you possibly can. For those guys that are saying I'm afraid of burning stainless, I've tried. I haven't managed to burn stainless yet. And unless you're putting exhaust heat through it, I really don't foresee how you're going to burn it. But I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying I haven't managed to do it yet. Now, granted, I've been polishing for 19 years, but out of all the pictures that 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 different polishers and people have sent me pictures of them doing their own stainless, I've still yet to see anybody burn their stainless in the pictures that I've seen. Excuse me, man, lunch was good today. But now, if you do manage to think you burnt your stainless, send me a picture. 9 times out of 10, it's just a missed spot. Now, if you've watched some of the other videos we just posted within the last couple days, you will see that turning the lights on and turning the lights off with your cut and color makes a huge difference. 9 times out of 10, it's something you missed in your cut. Remember that. That'll always come in handy no matter what you're doing, aluminum or stainless. So to answer the actual question, yes, you can use red and pink on aluminum or stainless. You can use orange and yellow on aluminum or stainless. Just remember, if you're cutting aluminum, don't take your buffs from aluminum and use them on stainless. If you've used your buffs on stainless, don't take them to go to use on aluminum. If you use a buff on stainless, it will get hot, it will melt the ends of the fibers, and it will make that buff extra crispy. A lot of times you can't rake that out before you go to aluminum. We used to just buff a tank and go from the aluminum to the tank straps to the aluminum to the tank straps to the aluminum. In that last section of aluminum, I could never figure out why I was getting goofy lines. 9 times out of 10, it was because of my buff going across that stainless was getting so hot that by the time I went to color that last section, my pad was overheated and I couldn't keep my color lines down. So I hope this helps you out. I hope it helps a lot of people get through a lot of the goofy questions they got. Our kits do work really well. I do still recommend switching up your colors just so that you can keep track of what you're doing, or labeling your buffs and making it a lot easier that way. Label your buffs, you'll thank me later. Thanks again for checking this out. Thanks again for stopping by and checking out the whole entire channel, I hope, and clicking that subscribe button down there. All these products are available on GoShineOn.com, and I hope you stop by to pick some up. See you on the flip side. Remember, if it don't shine, it ain't mine.